So many insights, and really important ones. For me and for lots of people who come to practice, it's an amazing insight to discover that you don't have to believe your thoughts. You know, we live in a kind of storytelling in which we're lost in thought, many of them kind of unconscious about ourselves or other people or the world. And the discovery that you can be mindful of thought, and then thought becomes a good servant rather than a bad master in some way. You can see whether the thoughts are true, whether they have a good intent, or whether they're old habits or conditioning. Mindfulness of breath is one of the most universal practices because it's ever present, it's neutral and simple, it helps to connect the body and mind and spirit. And in cultures worldwide and traditions, from shamans to midwives, from mystics to healers, from musicians to athletes, my friend who is the meditation coach or was for the Los Angeles Lakers used the mindfulness of breathing. It becomes an art that serves you in many, many circumstances. It's a simple art of ease and steadiness, of letting the mind and body settle like a clear forest pool. By attending to the breath, then you begin to notice what's present all around you, becoming more alive just where you are. So how to do this? How to sense the breath? You want to find a place where the breath is most evident and obvious to you. It might be in the nostrils, coolness, swirling, tingling in the back of the throat. Or you might feel the breath some other place in the body, the rise and fall of chest or belly. Or maybe as you pay attention, you feel the whole body breathing. Or if it's helpful, you can place your hand on your belly and feel the rise and fall of the breath in the palm of your hand. If the breath feels faint or hard to sense, you can just leave your hand on your belly and let that be the way you connect with your breath. Or you can feel your breath and hands together. And as you begin to pay attention to the breath, you'll notice that it changes. It has rhythms that are shorter or longer, spaces between the breath, or gaps. You can tend to the beginning or middle or end of the breath. You'll notice that one breath might be warmer or cooler than another, or even one part of the breath. And you can notice what happens as you begin to relax and steady yourself with the breath. Even 3 breaths, attentively felt, can bring a sense of calm and ease and enjoyment. This initial training, which is just our beginning, the mindfulness of breathing, is the start from which we will build awareness of body and emotions and thoughts and relationships. But starting in this simple way is a practice. And in that way, it's a little bit like practicing piano. You just put your time in without judging. And you'll notice, of course, that the attention rests with the breath for 3 or 4 or 6 breaths, and then it wanders off to planning, remembering 1,000 other places. One of the most important things to remember is not to judge. The instructions given by the chef Julia Childs are probably the most helpful in this regard. She says, if you're in the kitchen and you drop the lamb, you can just pick it up. Who's going to know, right? And it's pretty much the same with the breath. You feel 3 breaths and then you start thinking about something else. You feel 4 breaths and then all of a sudden there's an itch or a tingle or an emotion that arises. You can acknowledge that, notice it very gently, and then just come right back. An image that's helpful in the training of awareness of the breath is that of training a puppy. You don't want to beat the puppy. It doesn't feel good to the puppy, and it doesn't feel good to you either. Sit and stay, as Tara said. So you sense a few breaths, you notice the attention has gone elsewhere, you acknowledge that very simply, without any judgment, and come back, sit, and stay. Again, just being here in this moment. And that movement of your attention, of returning to the breath, is the key moment. That you're coming back and you're really here where you are.
Hat dir dieses Video gefallen? Gib uns ein Zeichen und lasse einen Daumen nach oben da. Bist du interessiert an weiteren solchen kostenlosen Videos? Dann abonniere unbedingt unseren Kanal und drücke die Benachrichtigungsglocke, denn nur so stellst du sicher, dass du kein weiteres Video verpasst. Danke dir und bis zum nächsten Video.